welcome to Weektight Conversations. Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Weektight Conversations. We've had a very, very, very beautiful time this year. This is our, I think, 17th episode, and we are excited to bring it to you also because the year is ending and we've had multiple conversations about many things, to which I would encourage that if you've not subscribed, please just hit that button and you'll be able to see many of our other episodes that are very inspiring, educational, and transformative. And we also want to appreciate you for walking with us through the year. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything. We believe that what Weektight Conversations are doing is not simply just entertaining, but also transformative in your lives. And today we have our last episode of the year, and I'm excited to introduce to you the guests of today, who will introduce themselves a bit later. But today we are talking about something that has raised the dust this month about our families. Yeah. And I feel personally that it's a conversation that we should have, not just on this podcast, but even in our families. So as you go for Christmas celebrations, initiate this conversation and see what your family thinks about this and what we can do about it. So we're talking about paternal ties, the side of our fathers, those uncles, those paternal uncles and aunties and cousins. How is it your end? Is it working? Does it make sense? Do you have relationships with these people? And if not, why? Because you are not alone. So we're here for that. We want to know why it started like that, why it has been like that, but most importantly, what we can do to change that narrative. So, my name is Samuel, as usual, your host, and today I am blessed to have two beautiful people that I will ask to introduce themselves. They usually say ladies first, so yeah, we'll start with the lady, and then we'll take it from there. You are welcome.
Thank you, Sam.
Please tell us who you are, what you do, why you do it, and where you do it.
Thank you. My name is Irene. Prefer to be called Nalongo. I am married, 5 years now. I have 3 beautiful children. And what else? Yeah, I work for an organization that we are not allowed to talk about without consent. Yeah, and these are my cousins on my father's side.
She said it's nice to have you, Irene.
Thank you so much.
I'm really excited about the conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you, Sam. And great to be hosted here at Weektight. Our viewers, wherever you are, great to be here, to be able to have this wonderful conversation. My name is Joshua Kanyesigye, and I'm born again. I am a married man to Fortunate Kanyesigye. I call her my diocese. And I am a resource development and program management specialist in the sector of humanitarian and development. Also a travel enthusiast, so I am a director at Canaan Travels at One Travel Company. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for accepting to be a part of this conversation. Now, for context, when you read the Bible says that wives should submit to their husbands, but it also encourages husbands to submit to Christ because he is the head and Christ is submitted to God. So in the creation story, we see that after God, there's Christ, and then after Christ, there's the husband, and then the wife, and then the children come in, and before you know it, that's a family, which becomes the smallest unit that forms a nation. So it's that serious that fathers carry that responsibility to define what a family becomes. The identity of a family is really heavily dependent on the seed of the father. And the Bible tells us that the word of God is that incorruptible seed. coming from the Father. It's by that seed that we are born again. Now imagine if God's seed was corruptible. That would defile so much about Christianity and about life itself. So it begs the question, if there is a man who doesn't understand the responsibility of that privilege, what happens to their family? It also means that as men in our families, we carry the responsibility of defining identity. So if we slack, if we are not the priests that we should be, if we don't take up the responsibility that we should, we are at risk of defining our families, and hence this conversation. Why is it that children are born and they have lovely uncles at their tender age, and then later on the uncles disappear, the aunties disappear, and we can't see our paternal aunties, we can't talk to our paternal cousins? It's heavy, it's hectic, it's hard. But yet, if we had a family function, it's very easy to bond with our mother's side, our maternal aunties and uncles and cousins. I found that it was really important for us to have this conversation. And this is why these wonderful people are here. So I know, like Irene had said, we are cousins from the paternal side. It was intentional. But what has been your story like growing up until now, relating with your paternal side? Because yes, we are cousins, but we have different fathers. So how has it been relating with the cousins, your aunties, uncles on your father's side up until now?
Thank you. I think for starters, if I'm to recall, growing up, when you're kids, of course, we'd be excited to go home for Christmas. And it was a tradition that we had to all go to the village. You have to go to the village. And this was because then my grandfather was still alive. It was like a must, all families have to come. So I think that's where we were able to meet all these cousins and try to bond. And yeah. But when this man passed away, when he rested, it became a bit hard going to the village. It became like you'd now think of, oh my God, if I go to the village, first of all, the water is a struggle, the what. You start now thinking of those things that you'd not see when you're actually there. It was actually more fun when you went to the village. You'd stay there for like 2 weeks. It was fun. Climb trees, get mangoes, go see cows. It was fun. But when this man got out of the picture, I think he was like the one holding the fort. Maybe at a later stage in life, he realized that maybe I lost track with the kids growing up, because I think he was a very busy man and he didn't really invest time with his own children. So maybe he thought when we came in the picture, it would be easier for him to catch up with the lost time he had with his own kids and his grandchildren. So when he got out of the picture, it was a bit hard. We dreaded going to the village. Would actually, in a funny way, would go past our village and go to our mother's village and just have a best time of our lives, and then just forget about these others. So with time, we grew distant with our cousins. We would not see them as often. So we lost touch. We lost touch basically. So it was a bit, tough. But I think now, growing up, we see the value in that, what they tried to do for us when we were kids. And now we're trying to catch up, and people are busy. People are busy. People are busy. Even us, you can see that they're actually busy. We're now the aunties of those days. We are busy. Oh, yeah. By the time you remember, oh my God, I have nieces and nephews. Like it's already a week. It's a month. You've not even, it's just, I think even this social media has put like the WhatsApp and what. Once you just see someone's status and you say hi and they're fine, done. You count that, you tick that box. So I think also that has a role to play in our not coming together and just assuming people are fine on the phones. But I think we need to embark on and embrace those old ways of how our people did it. Keep our families together.
Thank you. Josh.
Yeah, thank you. I think largely it's what Irene has really shared. It resonates so much with what my experience also was or is. And knowing that many families, we have different dynamics. And growing up as well, it would always be fun when you have those Christmas gatherings, when you have those, functions, or when you are from school, you're back home, and then you are in the village, you're with your grands, then see your uncles. At that age, you're young, maybe naive. Sometimes you are very innocent. You don't know so much of what is going on. Even with your uncles, with your aunties, probably there could be some maybe misunderstandings at that level. But as a child, you don't get to get involved. So at that point, you can go anywhere, you can eat anywhere, converse with your cousins when you are young. But as you grow up, I think as we grew up, the trends, the different trajectories of lives of different people, the course of life changed a bit. And so naturally, you'd find that you take long to see other people, other cousins. Unfortunately, others dropped out of school. So the only chance you'd get is when you are in the village, you see them once in a while when you are holiday. So with the time as you grow, the gap widens.
Yeah.
And so unless there was a deliberate effort, you'd find you're not in touch. You only come to see them when you go back for Christmas. And then everyone is hyped, people are happy to see each other after 1st of January, and you have gone back. It's again like the story is the same. So I think given the examples I'm giving, this cuts across to most families because of how life goes on after you've grown, you've gone to school, now you've started working different places. Then the intentionality and being able to be deliberate to look for one another, I think for most people, it's not been really there. And so it tends to widen the gap. So as such, I think I can attest to that, seeing it over the years. And good to have this discussion.
She said something that I would like to ask to pick on. She said before the grandfather passed, he had tried to make sure that the families come together once in a while. And, I want to believe that they tried, our parents tried to do their part.
Yeah.
So you can't blame them for what's not working now entirely. Yeah. But then that means that there should be other factors that are beyond what we could say that are causing this thing to happen. Because I'll tell you that on the mother's side, it's working. Yet we are busy, like you said. Social media is there as a factor, as you said. But how come it's working inside and it's not working this other side? There should be something that we are not really talking about that is happening to this particular side. And it's not just one family.
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
It cuts across. So I don't know if any of you have something that you feel is feeding into this that probably is beyond ending those visits and all that is really killing this trajectory of our relationships with our paternal sides. What do you think could be the silent killer?
I would say men, the way you're wired is just to provide, look after your home, make sure everyone at home is okay. All is like, are you well fed? Are you dressed? Good. And then as the women, the way we're wired to like nurture, family oriented. You're the one who spends most of the time with the children. At the end of the day, the kids will be more drawn to you than the other parent. So whatever your values are is what you will end up instilling in your own children. So if your family is so solid, and especially the wife side, you will end up finding yourself spending more time on your side. And also this notion of in-laws, you have to keep a distance with them. So you can't be in their faces all the time. So you find yourself, you go there once in a while, but there are some limits or boundaries to that. So that's why we find ourselves mostly on our side, because that's where we are most comfortable and most ourselves and most feel like no one will judge you. But there you're not as comfortable as you should have been or ought to be. So that's what I think. Maybe unless Josh has something different.
I think that's really, really powerful, you know, talking of, and of course, Sam, as you were introducing this, you mentioned how the relationship God has with Christ and how it defines even us as believers. Also, the Bible talks about all fatherhood being derived from God. And so him as the example that we look at should be able to define how we model our families, the values we impart or, you know, pass down to our children. So you carry this vision as a husband, as a man. But like she has said, very right, I mean, very correct to say that when you are married in a family, sometimes you're trading carefully. And you have had the entire 25 or 7 years with your own family.
As a wife.
As a wife. So in most cases, you're very free with your sisters, with your brothers, the other side, like you're always free with them. So when you give birth to children as well, guess what? It has naturally, it will be a feeling of here, there's a safe space here.
Yeah.
And so the mothers define so much in that equation, because where they spend so much time and where they feel most comfortable, the children will tend to, you know, also lean. But in the same way, what we are talking about is that there has to be sort of a balance, because the children as well need to know the other side of the father, and this has to take a deliberate effort by both parents. I sometimes tell people that what you want to see your children model later when you are old, you have to inculcate it in them now. If you want to see them come to see you when you are old and you see your grandchildren, but your own children did not see you go to see your own father and you know your paternal side. So when they are old, they won't think that is really as important. So that striking a balance of both sides is very key, and also knowing that there are some deliberate effort one has to do. Like you have to be deliberate at it, small as they should be, but you have to be intentional to strike that balance, because we need both sides. Yeah.
There are very many things I'm now starting to see, because I see, first of all, that this man is married, young man, who is trying to keep his family together, providing, like you said. So by the time he realizes that he has to have relationships with his children, it's a bit too late. He's too old. And that's why he's saying, come to the village.
Yeah.
So that I see you at once.
Yeah.
Yet there's this mother who has, over the years, been making sure that the kids see her sister, her brother. Because for them, it wasn't an occasion to meet as a family.
Yeah.
It's, I'm going to give birth, so my sister should come. The kids see that. Or it's my kid's birthday. The siblings of the wife have to show up because, you know, they're excited about this child and all that. So over the years, through the year, the siblings of the wife are in her life.
Yeah.
The siblings of the man are waiting for Christmas to gather. We go to the village.
Yeah.
And then that really defines the gap that the kids now have to think about. Okay, I would rather go to my aunt on my mother's side, because now this guy that I see once a year, there's no relationship. That's one. But two, to re-emphasize that our fathers tried. And like he said, not many fathers model the idea of relationships to their children. And many children, I think there's an age, most children learn by observation. All children. That even now, when we are spiritual children to spiritual authority, we learn most of the things by observation. So that means that if fathers don't acknowledge that gap and now take up the mantle to fill it with action, we'll have the same thing repeating itself over time. Because if it's that we are going to meet once a year or on an occasion of a birthday, and Men do that a lot. Like, they know how to gather people once in 6 months, but then the wife is gathering weekly. So,
Small.
yes,
Yeah.
incremental, but
Yeah.
really effective. So the
Yeah,
kid
yeah.
keeps seeing this person, this
Yeah.
person, this person. You know, this person. Like, I've seen it from your wife's sisters. By the time the kid is 3 years, he knows Auntie Diana will bring me chocolate anytime. It's small, but incremental.
Yeah, yeah.
Then, if we had to show up on the kid's birthday, it's been long.
Yeah,
The kid is like, oh, Uncle Sal.
Yeah.
I've remembered 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I saw you. So that's very interesting. That's very interesting. And as we draw close to the question time, I hope our audience has some questions. I just wanted us to close that section with ideas on how we can improve that while we are still children to our parents. Before we slide into now being the parents and our kids in the next segment. Is there a way? Is there hope?
There is hope.
There is.
Tell us.
There is hope. I think it's I know we are all busy, we are all chasing the money or the bag. But still I believe the husbands can be more intentional. Besides the 1 year, and I'm like, my kids are excited to go for Christmas. These people, they see them only on Christmas, and they're like, "Mommy, when is your holiday? Can we go?" So if we can be more intentional, anyway, maybe unfortunately my in-laws are not in town, but if it would happen more often, I think it would bridge that gap, and also us wives to have a bit of wisdom. We have wisdom and know when to also help your person. Because I mean, they might seem, some things might seem easy or obvious, but I mean, it's not on his mind. It's not on his mind. Help your person. Know that we have to instill these values in the kids. Maybe let's take them here. Let's go and see this family member on your side. Like, let's get to know more of these people than my side. Of course, my people are always in our faces every day. So my siblings are literally, actually, my kids call my siblings big sister, big brother, because they know them. They've grown seeing them. And when they go the other side, they actually fear the other people because they rarely see them. They're like running out of, who are these people? Who are these people in our faces? So if the men can be more intentional, look for the money, yes, but be more intentional, instill these values, like have like a tradition in your home of family comes first. I know we want the money, but family. Get to know this family, get to know them, bond with your siblings, the kids, let them get to know each other. Yeah, maybe even sleepovers. I mean, I don't encourage them, but if it means even growing up, like, let's see these kids grow up together, maybe put them in the same schools if it can happen, so that if it's pickup, maybe one uncle can do the pickup for all, then the next day the other can do the drop, like have that togetherness so that there's something to remember. And these memories stick to our minds when we were kids. Like, there are things your uncles did or your aunties did that you cannot forget. Like, they stick to your minds. There's a time your dad visited us when we were very young. I think he had just come to check on my mom. Like, you know how you're Christians and you're trying to get to know each other and that whole fellowship. He visited us so many years ago. I think I was in like primary 3. When he left,
very many years.
When he left, he gave each of us 5K. Do you know how much 5K was those days? Up to now, we can't forget, because like he left a mark. Like, every time he would not be there every day, but every time he made presence in our home, he left a mark. Like, he made sure we don't forget Uncle so and so. Like, so those small things we do for kids, we should be also mindful how you do them. Yeah, that's why I think now I'm trying to involve you guys in my kids' lives. Deliberately, because I want you to be there, because growing up you can't forget this thing. So I bring you together. I'm like, you're the godfather of my son, you're the godfather of my son, so that somehow along that way you don't forget, you'll always remember Irene's son, so and so. So you'll make contact. You're like, how are you? How are the kids? So in that way, we always come together. Yeah.
Wow. That's quite interesting. Josh?
Yeah, very powerful. You see that Nyankole saying or proverb that akatiki kwa kachiri kabisi, it resonates so much because it matters at what stage you want to nurture this.
Yeah.
And when we are now grown-ups, you see, we've been talking about children. Now we are the children who were going through that. Now we are the parents.
We're
right
the parents,
now.
yeah.
But certain things we didn't see, they are hard to practice. You have to do so much to unlearn.
Yeah.
So it begs the question of at what point are we able to do these small things? And of course, as men, as you just put it, Irene, I feel like men sometimes wait for the bigger occasions.
Yeah.
You know, you want to appear big.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, with all many other things going around, you know, you have to work. Some things you don't tend to really think they're important. You look at some men struggle with going to do visitations, you know, of their own children, and they will have, you know, so many reasons, justifiably maybe, but those small gestures for the woman. It's even easy for a mother to go with her own sister to visit a child at school. But it will be hard for the brother to tag along to go and see that child. So some of these dynamics in family are quite to do with the gender, you know, norms. But what I'm saying is that even amidst all that, at what point can you be able to model certain helpful aspects in your child and be present? Because what you nurture surely grows with time. If you do these small, you know, check-ins, you know, gatherings, a Sunday lunch, I think those ones they impact so much on these children. Then I also want to speak to the young ones now, the children, you know, these who are growing. How can you keep this touch together as cousins when you're still, you know, young? Because at some point, the parents have done their part, but also you in your teenage age now, you're able to pick on and be able to check on your cousin and build healthy relationships.
Yeah.
You build around yourself a supportive system, again, with your own, you know, blood cousins, not only friends, but nurturing these relationships, even you taking a responsibility. Because now you have to know that it's important for you to know your cousins, know what they're going through. When it's a holiday, be able to, you know, nurture something, because you have to take responsibility of your life, even after you've grown to that time when you are able to work and start your own family. What you've been doing through the years will surely be able to show up at that stage. But if you ignore those steps, then it becomes hard for you to start afresh when you are old and grown up. Maybe the last part I would want to say also is that different families have, you know, different issues, dynamics and all that. You will not be surprised. There are families where the children grew up saying, don't go to and so please don't eat this side, you know, those things. But for you, and again, with as believers, there's a time when you have to interrogate certain things. And but I know Dad used to say, Mom used to say this ABCD, but now I think, I what would God do? If they've had a certain conflict at a certain level, how do we be able to really nurture healing and restore relationships? Because we need each other. We need each other at the end of the day. Yeah, thank you.
I have just noticed that, like you said, different dynamics of families. There are families that, for example, the father had 2 wives, and it's too extended to catch up or cope up with.
Like our grandpa.
Yes. So you find that in there, like you were saying, there are issues of witchcraft, there are issues of malice, etc. And sometimes on competition. So on the side of children, it's hard to cope with such things for you to nurture relationships with even cousins of those uncles and whatever. And as much as we can't do much about it right now, because it's a hard paper, because it's very hard to untie all those threads that have been built for over 30 years. Threads of hatred, threads of conflict. I feel like now that this conversation is here with the awareness that we have, there should be a way, like you were saying, of trying to work within ourselves as cousins and whatever to build a new story that should change that narrative. Because someone might say, I'm saying this to just help someone who probably has grown up in such an environment and it's worse than for many of us.
Yeah.
And they're feeling like, now me, what should I do? My family is already like this. But like he said, especially if you're a Christian, there's a point in life where you mature to say, okay, our families have been like this. But what has God taught me enough to do or to become? This is a normal human being. We've never had issues. Our parents assumed to have issues, but I've never had issues with this cousin. What would kill if I reached out and said hi and, supported them on their function or whatever it is, just to start to kill that narrative? I'm saying it's possible. Might be hard, but it's possible. So as much as there's very many factors that feed into what we have lived through and what we've seen, there is a way around it by God. Yeah. So there's hope. Like
There
she
is.
said.
There is.
There's hope. So I don't know if there's any question from in there. Is there any question? Please, let's have it and then we'll proceed.
Thank you very much. My question, stroke contribution to the subject is I feel like there's another reason that none of you have been captured as to why it's difficult to have relationships with our cousins or relatives at large from our father's side. So there is the issue of socioeconomic status or income bracket. Or, let me just say it in the African way, how much money one has. Because we know at the end of the day, if, for example, one has 8 children, 30 years down the road, it's rare that they'll all be in the same income bracket. Well, some families are lucky, the curve is on the average, but some get into very parallel social economic status groups. So it really becomes hard to maintain those relationships with your cousins if you're going to different schools. One was he's in an international school and then you are in a certain in another school.
Government aided.
Even when you sit down and have a conversation, the things that you could talk about are little bit.
Yeah.
So even as adults, now I'm going to assume that we are the ones God has blessed and we're in the higher income brackets, and the cousins that we are failing to have relationships with are perhaps, they're still growing and they're still coming up the ladder. So mothers will want to have those relationships. Sometimes this factor really makes things difficult. Because when you want to have a natural relationship, when you go back to the village, your cousins are looking at you as an ATM machine.
Summer.
And now, especially with men, because it's difficult for men to be close when they are in different income brackets. Because by the nature of men, when they sit down and have conversations, naturally they're talking about investments, businesses, and things that revolve around money. I guess it's a natural way of men.
Which breeds competition.
Yes, which breeds competition. So, if my father and my cousin's father are in different economic brackets, as cousins, it's going to be hard for us to have a relationship. But then on the other hand, what makes it easier is sisters are sisters. And it really never matters if one is rich and the other one is still struggling. It really doesn't matter. So it makes it easy for children of the sisters to still maintain a relationship. But also even on the mother's side, it's not like people are usually close to all cousins from the mother's side. Somehow we get close to our cousins, whereby our cousinhood comes from our mothers being sisters.
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis
being friends, actually.
Yeah, you could have a cousin from your mother's side, but how your cousins is that maybe your mother is
A sister.
connection and refuse, but not a friend, but your mother's brother has a child who is also your cousin. But you'll be closer to the child of your mother's sister, more than you are closer to the child of your mother's brother. So it's it's not easier with sisters. Sisterhood is sisterhood, regardless of the economic status. But with men, money really puts a boundary. So I don't know if there is any solution around that, apart from working hard, so that we can keep within the same bracket. But from observation and from my own experience, when God blesses you with in different measures, somehow it's going to create a gap in one or another. So that's
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you for the discussion this far. The question I had was answered in part by the last conversation you just had about how there are invisible minefields. Some of them are, some people had actually actively conflicted families where daddy doesn't like so and so because you actually saw them fight. But then there are also, those invisible minefields that as children we did not see, but you just feel those tensions growing up. They tell you, like you just never went to someone's home, or they actively told you, do not go here. So I wanted to maybe just a bit more on that of how do we, like, what's then the balance of I am grown up, I am Christian, I am a mature person, I can go wherever I want. But then how do we now navigate that with our parents, like just directly of if mommy hears I went to such and such a place, what would they think? Or if they hear I'm talking to so and so's child, are they okay? But also the like not to walk into things that may be crazy. Like you say, I'm going to restart this relationship, but how do we know the ones that we should leave completely, and say, guys, it's okay. Let me restart a family somewhere else. But then also, how do we bridge the gap? Because I feel like sometimes we are so much closer to our friends than the people that we are related with. Like cousins, like you feel like you've started an urban tribe somewhere. You came to Kampala, the people you worked with and you go to school with, that's now you're more willing to go on vacation with those guys or to go to their villages, attend their parties. I don't want to sell myself out, but I've attended more weddings for friends than I have for family, cousins, Yeah. So how do we balance our urban families and how do we navigate the invisible minefields?
Thank you very much. So I'm going to throw those questions back to our guests. You can answer either. I think Josh can proceed with that money thing and what we can do about it, and then Irene will tackle what was asked last. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's an interesting conversation to have. The financial status in the family, and also how it will then reflect on the different relationships you have with your siblings, with your cousins, and of course their parents in the picture in this case. Whereas it may not be the real cause, it can compound. It can be a compounding factor. It can make it really worse, because at the end of the day, as children, it is what we learn. You will find some people who are rich, but they are down to earth. They are really humble. You have a rich aunt or a rich uncle who is really, humble, and they can be able to take you on because of the nature of what they have tried to be. But there are those who are rich, and even their own brothers fear them. And to them, the riches and what they have has become a tool against what should be really. It's not working to unite a family, but instead it is setting sort of a block. But these things are as old as you can imagine. Even the biblical time, you examine the family of Jacob and see his children. See how now we talk of Joseph, how he comes out. But even in a young age, the children themselves are feeling like, this guy, they look at him suspiciously.
Imagine the cousins.
Now, if his own brothers would look at him as a suspect and he has weird dreams, will be bound to this guy.
I'm just imagining Joseph's kids. They are telling them that this uncle sold your father.
Yeah, you can imagine. As old as that time, even those conflicts were there. But the changing, the game changer is how then Joseph had to deal with it much later. Because even when he was dumped in that pit and sold to Egypt, and later he's a big man in Egypt, second to the king, and then he looks back to his family. Because we have a responsibility. At any stage in life, when God is merciful to you and you're able to see that, I think you have a call back. You are able to see, how do I reconcile this family, because there is a greater cause. But I don't think anybody, I mean, he had the best opportunity to do a revenge.
Yeah.
For example, Joseph had the best opportunity to revenge on his brothers. And so many people, if you are not seeing far, if you're not having really a purposeful sort of life, you will not see those stages where you are given an opportunity to look back with kindness and hold somebody's hand. And the people who are doing that, actually, you've grown up in a very conflicted family, probably messed up, your uncle was rich, you are not, looked down at, but now you have come out. And there's a stage where you're able to look back and be like, yeah, this thing is bigger than me. I can look back at my cousins, they are struggling with fees, I can do something. So I feel like the financial status, important as it is, as believers, we can use it as a tool, but we have to be first liberated, because if we are not, it can as well make it worse. It can make the relationships even worse than they should be. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes, Annie.
Thank you. I was here thinking. She had a lot to say about her question. If you could just summarize it too, because I know there are two parts to your question. One was dealing with, how do you deal with a relative whereby your dad doesn't have good relations with them? And then two was, okay,
being invested in our own cousins.
Okay, maybe I will start with the first one. How do you deal with those relatives? We have, maybe I could use examples whereby your dad, of course, where I come from, the paternal side is not that solid. Everyone has their issues, maybe that stem from their upbringing or from the chaos that comes with losing a father and property, those things. So that has been going on for a while, and you can hear those fights over the phones, over what, but that doesn't stop us from relating with our cousins. We know, yes, and I think, giving an example of my own dad, he can know that I'm going certain place and I'll be meeting certain cousins, such and such a cousin who's either mother or father, they don't get along, but he will not cringe or feel a certain type of way. He'll just be like, you know what, we're adults, we have our own issues, but that doesn't stop you from getting to know your cousins. And like, he actually emphasizes, be better than us. You guys go out there, do better than us. We may not have done well. Maybe we have our own traumas from the past, their upbringing, because you can even tell from the way they relate with each other. They love each other, but their love is, I don't know how to explain. It's tough love. It's tough love. Even how they talk to each other.
Yeah.
Recently, the two uncles were talking to each other on phone at your wedding. And I was like, is this guy curly? Like, what is he doing? And they were actually talking and they understood each other. They're just having a conversation. She said, I looked at my other cousin and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, one would think they're having a fight.
Yeah.
Here they were just having normal conversation. And the good thing with them, they understand each other. They know they have this weakness, but they find a way of dealing with it. And yeah. So as cousins on this other end, I believe we should do better. We really try. Meet at these functions. We have those family gatherings that we're even having in December. So we really try. I think we know what our parents' problems are. The good thing, most of us are Christians and are aware about what is going on. So we are all trying. We're not there yet, but we are trying to stop, to get off this cycle and to start a new chapter. I'm sure in a few years to come, our kids will be proud of us because, we are getting there very soon. And then the other bit was urban tribes. It's so funny. Now, growing up, when, of course, our aunties and uncles being so busy and all that, I have 2 best friends. And these best friends, we made our parents friends somehow by force, and both parents. So they all knew each other, the 6 of them. So would visit each other, even if they don't visit each other because we're all scattered. One couple lives in Barra, another couple here in Kampala, and then my parents. So somehow, if they didn't meet, they would talk. Like we made our parents. So that became like my other family, even more than even my own cousins. So it got to a point where, even when I was starting, I gave an example how when I gave birth recently, I had my best friend's mom with me in the hospital than my own aunties. So when my aunties came, they were like, why? Why didn't you tell us? And I'm like, but how? This relationship is not there. If it was there, you would have been the first person I called. Because even the very first time when I gave birth to my twins, it was COVID time. My dad said, hey, I'm sending you your auntie. But I was like, I don't know. I don't have a relationship with this auntie you're sending. Like, what will we be doing in the hospital for 4 days? Talking about what? And I kid you not, when she came, she had her own issues as well. And she left like in a day. So I ended up being there with my sister and my friends, even in COVID. So sometimes you have to create that relationship. Like, it's already past us.
Yeah.
For our aunties, it's already past. They are really trying to bridge that connection, but it is hard. They have to accept, even as we have to accept, that past. Apart from a few aunties who are there and uncles who are there, and they're still trying to hold the fort. But yes, let's accept that the ship sailed. We cannot bridge those connections now. But also it's for us to have that wisdom to know that now we are adults. We can't keep continuing this line. Okay, let's try. So sometimes I try to reach out to my aunties of, hey, when can we have coffee? I'll go, are you okay? Like, we try.
It can be like,
is there a problem? Do we need to talk about? Because it's strange how recently some auntie of mine called me and she's like, are you okay? Is your marriage okay? I'm like, we don't have this relationship. Why are you asking me about these things? Like, first, hold on. Yet I can comfortably call my best friend's mom and we have a conversation because I know she has no ill thoughts, because she has that attachment is not there of she's from my family, she doesn't wish me well, what? She's like on a clean slate. So she will give me raw advice of do this, do that. And I know she means well. So yeah, having that wisdom, like let's do better as cousins with our children now. And I know you can't avoid having those urban friends and new families because sometimes they even come through for us better than our own family. So let's just find a way of balancing the two. Know when to come through for your family and know when to come for your friends. Yeah, that's what I think.
There's something I would love to add on what our friend has asked regarding what happens if you know your father's brother, your father and his brother are not, friends, and now they get to hear for you are getting along with their children.
Yeah,
I think that's a very interesting circumstance some people have found ourselves in. And sometimes the parents want to really they don't want you to do they don't want to hear anything between you and the other party because of the background they have carried. And so it begs a question of what exactly is my part in this? Because that's why I was saying earlier on that you must ask yourself such questions. Why am I in this family? How can I be the light, not advance the darkness we inherited? And I can tell you, I have seen some of those examples personally in our own lives. And even our family, sometimes we have seen, but we never used to get along so much with the so and so. But now the children are tight. They are together in the church, in the fellowship. Now, as parents, it breaks the ice. Do you see how children can be the starting point of a reconciliation in a family?
Yeah.
And I have seen it happen many times. Eventually, you see the parents talk, functions, you see it's warm, and eventually it changes the direction. So I believe that young as you are as a child, there is so much contribution you can make to change the direction of the family and grow healthy relationships. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And maybe to conclude that, we can't forget that the Bible is our standard.
Yeah.
So many times when it comes to family issues, relationship issues, people put the Bible out of their way. And it's their their thoughts, their attitudes, their perspective about life that starts to win. But if that heart is not in the hands of God, you will do a lot of carnal decisions.
Yeah.
The Bible says in Romans that do not repay evil for evil, but overcome evil by doing good. That's the way the Bible has instructed us to overcome evil.
Yeah.
By doing good, not to disappear, distance, do good. And that's also how forgiveness gets to have its ground in a man's heart. If you forgive someone and you never do good to them, you can never know if you've truly forgiven
There's
them.
no proof.
The power to do something nice for someone you've forgiven is the true victory in forgiveness.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that the Bible is our standard, especially if you are a Christian. And that also cuts across to the other question of finances you get. Because why is it that a woman will have a lot of money and the sisters, it happens also, especially in families that are not grounded on Christian values, because then witchcraft comes in. The other sister is bewitching this one because she's richer,
Yeah.
But if, like now, the way I've grown with my siblings, if I ever get richer than all of them, like he has said, what is on my mind is how can I help them? That's the mindset now. So we can't fail to have a relationship because I am rich and we are all men. But it's because my attitude is nurtured by some values that are Christian. True to form, you'll go home and the thinking levels are different, the conversations are different, but it calls again on the standard, like he was talking about humility. The standard is the word. How do you then relate with people who are below you, even though you're better than them? What conversations can you nurture around, okay, if you can't talk about investing, let's talk about football. Is it that serious?
Yeah.
But at least make sure a relationship works with someone you share blood with. So anyway, that was really insightful. Thank you so much, guys, for the questions. Now, for the last segment, we are the fathers, we are the husbands, we are the mothers now. Very soon we'll have villages. Your village is in Gayaza as compared to Kazo. But you will find that your sister has kids, your brother Elijah has kids, my brother Elijah has kids, and we are now the bigger people with our grandfathers now who are with their grandfathers who are now our fathers and mothers. Where do we go from here? What things can we now start to do as people who are now conscious of this predicament so that we build a better future and generation for our children? Josh.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sam. I think that, the Bible says that in Galatians 6:9, that do not grow weary in doing good. For in due season, you shall reap. And so there are people who have tried doing some of these things and they are seemingly not working out. So I just want to speak to someone who has done everything you think you should. You've tried to do gatherings. You've tried to go for their birthday, the children's birthdays. But you don't see that relationship working out. I believe that you are still sowing a seed.
Yeah.
And you should not give up because it's a good thing for you to desire to be at peace with everyone. And I normally say that it's better to do this in good times than to be forced down, when things have gone. Maybe you've lost somebody. Now you are trying to hit up to somebody who is feeling like, just because someone has died, you don't have to show me how much you care. Yeah. But when there is nothing, or when there are good times, you keep distance. So I believe as now parents, we really have the mandate, first of all, as given of God to nurture our families to the right thing. And so I will not tire. I will empower my friends who are within this age. If you are a father, you are a husband, do not tire. Do your best. Try to bridge the gaps. Try to find out how your cousins are doing. And then also to the part of the children, continue to use those opportunities and be the right person you would want them to be. I know a story of somebody who told me the uncle visited him at school and did not leave him with any pocket money. Like how there are those visitations, and it goes back to what you are saying. How men feel and how women feel, it's really different. But this is really weird. This uncle visited the gentleman in his senior 3, I think, and then he went back home. But he paid the fees. The father was not able to come, so he said, the brother, please go and leave. He paid the fees that he was given, but he didn't leave him with any pocket money. Now, young as he was in senior 3, that thing has never left him. So at the time we talked and I get to learn about this, I'm like, man, we have to break, have to be emotional, have to think about certain things. Yeah, so we have to be the right people we would want to see our children be. And do all that it takes. Be intentional and do small things, I normally honor these. I'm learning and growing into these celebrations of milestones. Something has happened and you are, even when you are celebrating them, be mindful. You may not invite everyone, but at each opportunity you have, you can invite one who has not been, frequent. Try to see that you do actions that try to bridge this gap. I think God will see your intention, and at some point it will be able to melt up the ice, and then we have better relationships. Thank you.
Maybe I would use the lens of showing up for each other, supporting each other financially, in a sense of, if your cousin has this business, go and support them. For example, it was, I cannot plan a honeymoon without Canaan Travels. Like support, that alone creates a relationship. And you're like, hey, my brother, hey, So support them. If they're selling clothes or kids' clothes, you cannot go to a shop and spend millions, yet your cousin has the same product. At least they might be a bit slightly higher, but go and support them. Go and support them. That alone will make them feel some type of way, and they will show up no matter what for you in any way. So let's show up for each other. Let's be better parents. Yeah. And these things, our kids eventually they rub off on the kids, and it penetrates through all of them, and they get to come through for each other because they see through our actions. What we do is what they see. You don't tell them and they learn. They see what we do. So let's show up for each other. These gatherings, let's be there. Yeah. Show love to each other and let it be genuine. Let's not pretend. Let it be genuine. Because something that is forced, we will not do it with love. Yeah, let's be genuine. And I think, God will see us through.
Surely.
Yes. Irene has triggered something so deep. Supporting each other business-wise.
Yeah.
Yesterday I read an article on a website about Christian businesses, relationships. And I was there reading, I was looking out for something, and then it came so powerfully. Like how you're talking about supporting our cousins, our friends' businesses. So it matters the attitude you go with.
Yeah.
What support are you giving when you are the one asking 50% discount?
Yes.
Like you're the one.
That's not support.
No, that one is my brother. He will give me the van of $100 at $50. So at the end of the day, I'm not sure that's support. But I think what we are nurturing is let support be real support.
Yeah.
There's no harm in you giving even above the price is charging. That's real support. The attitude we carry as we do this, I think really matters. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I loved how an example at your wedding, how you used the cousin to do your cake. I was impressed. I was like,
that's real support.
And she did very well.
A very good job. So
Shout
I was like,
out to you, Aga. Cake.
She was like, wow. Like family, like we want to attend one day a function, the deco is cousin, so and so. So food is so and so.
And she was paid.
It's a family.
Paid what?
There it would even be easy to account because a service provider won't disappear with your money. You'll be like, man, what happened?
Yeah.
So let's support each other. Yeah.
Though in that article too, I emphasized that yes, we're going to support you, but do excellent work.
Yeah.
We're Christian, you expect support from Christians, but do something excellent so that it's worth the support.
Yeah.
You're my cousin, but do nice stuff.
Yeah.
Man. I will support you, but do something really...
Be professional.
Excellent. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much. Maybe in a nutshell, I would like us to appreciate that what we are seeing, like I started, what we are seeing is not just a physical thing. It's deeply spiritual.
Yeah.
It's an attack. It has been on for long. And if we don't become consciously aware, we'll repeat the cycle and we'll lose so much. Because you can imagine the families in Uganda that are struggling. You see, you're now a traditional ceremony and uncles you've never seen are showing up and they're trying to make decisions. And your dad is also frustrated because, he didn't know how to handle these guys. It's not right.
Yeah.
If you want to make a decision on someone's function, be in their lives so that they see the importance as to why you're demanding for this and that and that and that, Be intentional. As men, like she said, we can do better. And the beauty is that now we are the men, so we are not pushing blame. We are telling ourselves that we can change the narrative.
Yeah.
We can be there for our young nephews and nieces. We can build relationships intentionally. We can be present as men, not just fathers and husbands, but present. You can imagine an uncle of a guy left a lasting impression
I know.
on someone's life from senior 3. So it's really not just your children alone, but everyone that you could be connected to. Yeah, and number 2, the intentionality to nurture relationships. Like I said, the Bible says that in the last days, the love of many will grow cold. It's real, so we can't take it for granted if this is happening before our eyes.
Yeah.
We can change the narrative. We can do, like I said earlier, that women know how to do these small incremental things that later on compound to love. So when a kid says, I love my aunt, it's beyond today.
Yeah.
It's a collection of small little things, and we can be just that. Sometimes you have 10K, send it to the kid, open an account for him. Recently, I was on a rites of passage ceremony for a kid who was turning 13. Things they never did for us. They didn't know better. We also got to learn about these things as old men. But the rites of passage, it's someone, transitioning from the ages of 1 to 12, they're becoming a teenager. So there are some rites that they do in there to transition that boy or girl to adulthood. And at the end of that ceremony, they collected for that boy 20 million.
Wow.
So imagine in how many years when he's 18, 5, he'll be richer than many.
I know.
Because if you put that money in treasury bills or whatever, it will,
accumulate, yeah.
So such things, they communicate so much. But lastly, from my end, men, I remember on my wedding, Apostle preached about the idea of submission, not just for women to husbands, but for men to Christ. That's why I started with that idea, that the idea of family comes from God himself. If men don't take back the responsibility of being priests in their homes, we will see this thing continuously happening in our homes. Because if the man stands and says, I will not allow this nonsense in my family, we are not nurturing hatred, we are not nurturing competition. You refuse as a man grounded on Christian values. You help your children to see that, and they start to propagate it in their cousins too. Like he was saying, when they're doing it, they're having backup, because now we are doing it on our own. You don't know whether your parents would back you up, but because you have principles in a Christian way. So anyway, to say that men can take back this responsibility, submit to Christ. Whatever Christ leads you to do, do that.
Yeah.
If he has told you, go and speak to this cousin, do it, because he knows why. If he has said, go to this uncle's place, it might look strange and weird and uncomfortable, but do it. So in our submission to Christ, a lot of standards will be dispelled and new ones will be built for us to have, functional families going forward. Because we know that in the last days, the thing that will be attacked most is family. We are already seeing it now. You've talked about social media, you're looking at homosexuality and all these things. They are all attacks on the idea of family.
Yeah.
So we can't just passively allow this to happen. Now, I don't know if you have like one last parting shot to say to the generation, and then we'll close.
Okay. Mine, the parting shot is really shout out to maternal aunties, uncles that are doing a good job.
Yeah.
Really imagine a place where even them, they are not warm-hearted. They are not, doing anything. I think then the families will be finished, not just finished, but completely. Yeah. So those that are doing it right, that are really trying, really we appreciate. And from the paternal side, irrespective of the dynamics you find yourself in, I think the key thing is to allow God, like Sam was saying, really, to define and guide the direction you should take the family. Like I started saying by saying that all fatherhood is derived from him. So he's the real model we should be looking at to nurture these relationships. So from the paternal side, be the best you should be. And then those small incremental things, small things, like you just said, that person who was, they collected the 20 million, the compounding effect of that 20 million, if you invest it, at the end of the day is when you be able to see the impact.
Appreciate, yeah.
So the small things, the gatherings, the message, the phone call, those small things. You don't need to put in fuel and go 300 kilometers to see your cousins. Social media is here, yes, it can work for you, but also can be against you. So if we can tap into the available, means and try to reach out. Enough for me now, even me, I've been ministered to by this discussion. So I'll be, even as I leave, I'll be thinking, which cousin have I not talked to in a while? And I try to reach out because it must work for me if it's going to work for my children. So it starts with us wherever we are. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for also reminding me my point. I've always had a thought why maternal sides feel so attached to, like, don't have those issues. One is I feel like they all come from the same womb. Like, this is my grandmother, we all came from the same, like, that holding. I think that's why they are so attached to their kids that they wouldn't want them to, yeah. So that's what I've always thought. Maybe that could be the reason why. I don't know for others, but me, that's my thought. Because I feel like they would treat us like their own. Like, my grandmother would treat me like her own child because I came from her child. same as my children's, my sister's children. Like, we all come from the same thing. Whereas the paternal side, it's like we are all a bit scattered. It's all also from the same, but like the one of the people who asked, the sisters, your sisterhood is a bit different from the other side. So you'd treat them as your own. Actually, even growing up on our side, when we're on our maternal side, it's like we are literally home, regardless of which auntie you're at. Like, you're home. She will treat you
Formality.
She will treat you the way even better than her own children. Yet when you're at the paternal side, you can tell the difference of you're a visitor. You just came here for a few days. So that if we could do better on the paternal side, now that we are the ones, how are we treating our nieces and nephews?
Yeah.
Because our children also see how we treat them, and somehow we cannot try to tell them otherwise when they're grown, because they've seen us in how we treat them or carry them. So let's love on these children because they're innocent children. Let's love on them. And if we see our partners, for my side, they're not good at gathering people, or making sure that the patriarch or the paternal side is solid, you be the voice. Be the voice. If you know, in our family, the people who were first spearheading that were not even in that home. They were married into the home. They were seeing, man, this father's side is sloping. So they were the ones holding the fort and spearheading this. So let us be the ones. If your partner can't do that, do it for him. Be the help. Support your partner and make sure, bridge that gap for the kids. Do it for the kids. Because we cannot all be broken. Yeah, we've seen it. Let's do better and help our kids be better people. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think we've had a very beautiful discussion. And as the host, we've talked about incremental activities that can compound. So I have bought for your kids a box of milk, each of you.
Thank you.
So that we start from somewhere. Yes.
Thank you.
So that we start from there. It's a seed so that my generation can also tap into, and we start to do something beautiful. If you are there and you've never given your life to Jesus Christ, it's never too late. You can the Bible tells us that you believe in your heart and you confess with your mouth and you're born again, you're saved. So if you're there and you would like to make that decision, just say, Lord Jesus, today I believed in my heart that you died and you rose for my sake. I am born again. It's that simple. We just help you to confess it. So if you have done that, there's a link in the description that will lead you to where we can follow you up and help you disciple you so that you become a better Christian. Otherwise, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year. Please share this episode wherever you can. Your family members, enjoy it on your Christmas day. Discuss amongst yourselves and see whether it can be of help. Subscribe, like. Let's push this message wherever we can. So God bless you so much. Thank you for 2025. And we'll see you again next year. God bless you.
Thank you.
Until we meet again, who is going to you today?